Hello, my name is Emily Traster, and I am here today with Dan Dalton, one of the founding partners of Dalton and Tomish. Dan has helped a number of churches leave the United Methodist denomination and keep their property. How are you today, Dan?
Doing great, Emily. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. So we've received a lot of questions about the claim that there is an unfunded pension liability. Is there an unfunded pension liability for all three of Wespath's pension plans?
That's well, you got it out. Wespath pension plans. So, as noted, there are three of them. There's the pre-1982 plan. There's the Ministerial Protection Plan, which is also called MPP. That was from 1982 until 2006. And then there's the current one. It's called CRISP, or the Clergy Retirement Security Plan, from 2007 forward. It's pretty clear from the information that we received to date that there is no unfunded pension plan. And that would be in the context of whether you have a plan that's fully funded that could pay for the pension, pension claims in the future. And by a fully funded plan, there's two ways to define it. One is the money that's actually in the plan, does it cover the potential expenses? And the answer is yes. And I think from the information we received to date, it's very clear that there's actually right now, as of 2021 or 2022, I'm sorry, there's actually a surplus in that plan. The second way of defining that is what Wespath has done for conferences to create a deficit, and they claim what's called a market rate plan. And that is the pre-1982 plan is fully funded, but they're claiming that the MPP of the CRISP plan is not. What's important to know is that Wespath has excluded itself from ERISA, which is the federal law that covers pensions. And ERISA prescribes certain requirements in terms of funding. So if it was a traditional pension plan covered by ERISA, they could not even make a claim that there's an unfunded pension plan because you're fully funded. So we also know that Wespath has over $30 billion in assets as of 2022. In January of 2022. We know that there's less than 100,000 participants in Wespath. We know that the average age of participants is 61. And we also know through Wespath's own materials that there's enough assets to cover the plan until 2090. So unless we have all these pastors that are going to live to 130 years old or longer, you're just not, you have enough funding in that plan. So what is about this unfunded pension plan, or what is it? What is the conferences? What are they saying about this? Really, what they're saying is in the worst case scenario, that the market completely drops, that there's no, there's no other assets that come into the plan, that everybody takes their plans, their assets out of the plan at once, which they can't do, but they do. Then there's going to be a deficit of what they claim about $50 million. And then they spread that out among others. And then they add 10% on that just for good measure as well. So when we're talking through what a pension plan is, it's really not a fair assumption from conferences to say that there's an unfunded pension liability or that their conference is going to be hurt by churches leaving the denomination because the plan is fully funded. And if it wasn't fully funded, they certainly would give us that information to show it's not fully funded. It's just not absolutely, it's just not true. So why would a church, you might be asking, why would you pay for an unfunded pension liability going through 2553 to leave the denomination? And the reason is simple. It's an exit fee. That's all it is. It's a way of the conference getting cash. And how do we know that? Well, we know that from a couple of things. One is just from Wespath's own documents. In their own documents, they say that the money that a conference receives from a church who disaffiliates, and they have a money identified as an unfunded pension liability, that money does not have to go into the pension plan. The conference can decide what they want to do with that. And we know from 2021 that the Episcopal Fund was almost empty in 2021. Now it's completely full. Well, where do you think that money came from? That came from churches who are disaffiliating and conferences just choosing to put that money into the Episcopal Fund. So we know that to be true. We also know that there's two ways to leave the denomination. There's the 2553 And then there's the Hotel California rule, which is you can join, but you can't leave. And if you leave, you have to pay the fair market value of your property. The fair market value of most properties is significantly greater than the 2553 number. So 2553 is there basically is to allow you to get out. You're going to pay a lot more. You're going to pay essentially an exit fee. And if conferences were honest about it, they would say, yeah, this is an exit fee because that's what it is. And you would pay that to be done. Or the third option is to litigate the trust clause if that's what you want to do. And in some states you can do it, and in some states it's very difficult to do. But at the bottom line of this is this fact, and that is that the pension plans are fully funded. They have enough assets in them today to pay for everybody who participates until 2090. There's just plenty of money in it. All they're asking for, conferences are asking for, with this unfunded pension plan is an exit fee, giving them more cash to operate in the future, since they're going to be losing churches who are paying apportionments, for years down the road. And there's no more churches that are growing. They're not planting new churches. The larger, healthier churches are leaving. So they're looking at this from a perspective of, we need cash. These churches have cash. We're going to take their cash and we're going to call it an unfunded pension liability.
As always, thank you for your insight, Dan. If your church is looking to leave the United Methodist denomination and would like Dan's help, please call our office today to set up a consultation. Thank you.